Okay, thanks Arthur. Hi everyone. I just want to use this next section of the webinar to really get into this concept of self-serve, a very important concept for the independent. And in this section, we'll look at how we define it, how you can access it, and how it can really help you get up and running with online reporting. And I think Tracy already got across the main elements of the difference between serviced and self-serve dashboard. This is really how we define the difference between the two. So as Tracy mentioned, if you're going down the service dashboard route, you would start off by preparing specifications, giving that to a supplier. It will be more of a black box approach. They would take that away, they'd build the system for you, and you'd be there as a kind of middleman helping to deliver that reporting to your end client. So you're involved, but you're not going to be hands-on in creating the reports yourself. And at the other end of the spectrum, where you're looking at pure self-serve, of course, you must start off with a detailed requirement, just like you would in any other scenario. But instead of looking for someone to go away and build it for you, you'd look for a software platform that would enable you to create the reporting yourself. And it puts you a little bit more at the heart of the process. Instead of paying an amount of money for someone else to go and do it, you would purchase a license, and that would normally give you the freedom to create multiple projects and be in control of the setup process, all the way from loading the data to creating the reports. And over time, you'd also be the first line of support for your client. So this puts you in quite a good position. It puts you in control of the reporting that you're doing. And so some of the questions that will come up immediately when we introduce the idea of self-serve will be, well, actually, our client has very complex requirements. It's going to be too complicated. And we don't have the right people in-house. We just don't have the skill set to be able to do it. So in that scenario, of course, a service dashboard may well be the right choice, and that's absolutely fine. But for other agencies and independents, there may be real pressure around budget, and you may have the capabilities. You may really want to put yourself there as the people responsible for the reporting, and it may be faster to go that route. So self-serve does become a very attractive option in that case. And of course, as with many things, there's always this hybrid model, as Tracy mentioned, this halfway house, where you can potentially use a supplier to give you a platform that is then configurable, and you can become an administrator, and you can move more towards self-serve over time. So that mixed mode gives you a kind of safety and gets you part way through the process. But I really want to promote this idea of self-serve. I really think it's important for researchers to be very close to the final deliverable. I think the more control you have over the data that's going out to your client, the better, and self-serve really puts you in the middle of that. You're helping people do data discovery, so they can explore the data themselves and they can cut and slice like Frederick's shown, and in that you get your eureka moment and you get the insights that you just simply couldn't do with hundreds of PowerPoint decks. It's a very agile approach. You can change the system as you're building it, you can prototype it, that's great flexibility. And you can talk to the stakeholders directly and say, what do you want to do with these reports? Do you want to see it this way or that way? Let's build it as it fits you. And that's much harder to do if you're giving this as a service dashboard approach. And here's the basics. It reduces your IT support costs, it's a faster response time, and you're more in charge of the visuals, the way things look. So all of that is basically more control, more of this in your own domain, and that has to be a very positive thing. But let's look in detail. We've already talked about the mixed mode, which parts of the process could be self-serve and which parts don't tend to be. We need to be honest about that and be careful as we do this. So first up, user management. That's something that will almost always be self-serve. Content management, and by that I mean text and links and images. Again, take that into your domain. You shouldn't be needing an IT guy to go away and do that for you. Shared file storage can give you a collaborative shared environment so that you can be reducing email traffic, managing project plans, all kinds of benefits that get beyond the normal quantitative data. And when it comes to that data, you can choose where you want to be on this continuum, really. How much freedom to slice and dice do you want to give your client? How sophisticated are they? You can be in control of that. You do have the ability to set aesthetics, but just a cautionary note around that. That will be the basic stuff normally, the logos, the colors, maybe some backgrounds. For advanced, really nice looking dashboards, that's something that probably you're going to need a bit of support from a supplier who can deliver that to you. And then down the bottom of this slide, some areas that you're just very unlikely to find as self-serve because they're just that advanced: infographic design, custom dashboard development, advanced analytics. Just be aware that those are the things that are very hard to control through an online control panel, at least right now. So in that case, you're probably going to get them directly from the supplier. So I'm just going to a real-world example here, and we're just going to take a look at how the self-serve elements come into this contact center dashboard very quickly. It just looks like a normal dashboard, but in here we've got a few self-serve options, most importantly of which the user can move between multiple projects. That can be very useful where you have repeat work. The user can set their date range, their custom filters. They have the white label options here in the top right-hand corner. Most importantly for me is that when a chart is not showing them the exact variable that they need to see, they can click on that chart simply and change the chart type, change the variable that's being shown. And they can also click through and drill down against something Frederick showed. There's lots of layers of data here, and it's a really efficient way to get into open-ended text, the more qualitative end of the spectrum, and that's what the users are doing here within this dashboard. So just very briefly, how can you choose the right reporting tool? And I've done a few slides here that really look at the process that help you choose the right tool. There's 11 criteria around this radar chart, all of different importance for different agencies. And I think it's fair to say there's no such thing as the perfect all-rounder when you're choosing this software. So you need to go away, you need to talk to your client, you need to talk to the end users of the platform and come up with something like this. This is your priority rating. So just an example, but here we're mapping out, what's the most important thing for us? Affordable, easy to use, looks nice, easy support. So if those are our priorities, we then need to look at the marketplace and see what are the tools available to us and how good a fit are each of those, so that you can come back with the best decision and give yourself the best chance of success. So then you can begin that process. Tracy's talked about a few of them, and we've seen a few examples. You go through looking at each of these with your map in mind. So always remember, these are our most important aspects of our reporting tool. Attend webinars, get hands-on demos, make sure you're getting really close to this reporting tool. It's responsible for your final deliverable, so it's important that it's absolutely right. Look for independent reviews. The BARC writes an annual report on these, but you can go to other researchers and ask them what they're using. Record your priorities and look for the gaps, and this is what we're going to do next. We're going to layer on top of this an example of a reporting tool, and what we can see is a couple of interesting gaps. When we've completed our evaluation, let's say it's turned out that it's just not flexible enough. That could be a showstopper for us, so we move on to the next tool. Also, we might find that it has functionality that we don't actually need. In this case, it's incredibly strong on closed loop, but that's not important to us, so is that wasted investment? So that's just a very quick introduction to some of the concepts of self-serve. And just at the end, I'd just like to say, you can see, hopefully, that self-serve can get you into the area of online reporting quicker, reduce your costs, and ultimately really improve the way that you're delivering data to your clients. You must choose the tool that works best for you, and there's a lot of options out there. And also make sure you've got the right resources in place to support one of these platforms. If you do that, you'll find that you'll really quickly reap the benefits of online reporting, and you'll really improve the way that you're delivering data to your clients. Thanks for listening. Over to you, Arthur.